together
to grow
and expand their business.
Where we take our individual fires
and put them together and make one big fire.
This is the Honey Badger Nation.
An opening, man.
I could see you rocking out. I'm like, you're doing some bass, maybe then some guitar, and then you went into a little bit of a drum solo.
And all of it is air because I don't know any of that stuff, right? I could do G, C, G. There you go. That's all I know. My son is the guitar player.
Oh, really? Do you know with GCD, you can play like half the rock and roll songs that ever existed?
My brother actually taught me that. And he says that all of Marvin Gaye's songs is exactly that. G, C, E.
That's all it. That's all you need. But they're still brilliant, even though they're rocking three notes.
I am a huge fan of the people that can think in that sort of creative space, man. That I could take these three notes and create dozens of different songs, man. I think that's genius.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like that's been around for so long, but you still have new artists working with the same three notes, coming up with original material.
Dude, at some point, man, I'm gonna introduce you to my son, who's got he's got a hip hop band that is incredible, and they still practice every week, twice a week, and they're new and they're amateurs, but they're outperforming even like headliners, man.
Are they doing live gigs?
Yeah, they're doing live gigs. They just did Rolling Loud out in California. They're doing another big one in June in Coney Island. It's awesome. I'm super proud. I wish I could say that I did it, but it's them, man. They've got the determination and they're doing it.
Well, I'm sure you were involved in some capacity, right?
Yeah, I told them don't give up. That's it.
There you go, man. Coaching, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's my job.
The original coaching gig, parenting. You said you had 5. You said
I got
right?
5 kids, brother.
Wow. What ages?
So 3 of them are in their 20s. I got a piece of wax on my shirt. Excuse me. 3 of them are in my 20s. They're in their 20s. One of them is 17, and one of them is 9.
Wow.
And the 9-year-old, my wife and I were like, "You can still do this. All right, awesome, good job." He was my little preemie, man. He was born less than 2 pounds, bro.
Oh,
size of my palm, right? And now he's like a monster. Like he's huge.
Now he could take you.
Yeah, he could take me. He at least he thinks he can, man. He's playing VR right now and knocking everything over.
Yeah, I'm an older dad. I've got an almost 3-year-old and a 15-month-old.
Woo! Welcome to the Terror Dome, brother.
Yeah.
Woo!
I call it the sleep deprivation zone.
You got it right, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. You play that in zones, man. You and your wife, man. You got to box them out.
Yeah, that's why we're in negotiations for a third. But I'm like, I don't think they can outnumber us.
Well, see, the thing is that the tough one is 2. 3 makes life easier,
right?
And I can't explain it, but the older one will start to take it easy on you because they notice you got the 2 younger ones.
Right.
Can't explain it, man.
We noticed from the first one to the second one, we were way more chill. Second one, like first one, water breaks were like Second one, water breaks it's like 2 a.m. We're like, yeah, let's put on Netflix. You know it's gonna be a while.
Let's take a walk.
And we notice it with them. Like our youngest, she's just way more chill.
Yeah. Dude, man,
I can only imagine the third.
You guys did a good job making sure that you kept them close together, right? Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you right now, man, my oldest, man, I jacked him up, man. Everything had to be the perfect this and the right that and the study this and this and that. Now he's neurotic, right? He's like this neurotic teacher. My youngest is like, is he bleeding? No, then he's all right, man. Don't worry about it, dude.
Yeah, we'll see if we go back to the well for a third, but
well,
we're in negotiations, so it's basically if my wife decides or not. So,
dude, man, I know that one pretty well too, man. We'll get into that one. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, right?
We'll have to do a separate parenting podcast.
Dude, man, we could talk for hours, man. I when I first became a realtor, I was I was a single dad, right? So my oldest son is with a different person, right?
Right.
We're a mixed family, and I was doing this thing called the single father survival kit in my head, man. And I was like juggling the kid, the baby bag, the showings, right? Like the car seat and things like that. And so, like, very, very common right now, I get a bunch of parents that are like, how do you do real estate and, juggle drop offs and pickups and things like that? I got the right attitude for you, man. It's a single parent survival kit.
Yeah.
And they're like, it was pretty awesome, bro. It's learning the biggest challenge that we had, my son and I, was finding a place to use the bathroom in the middle of the day. There you go.
Wow. Well, Sekou Pyle, well, thank you for doing this podcast. I
Dude,
appreciate
man,
it.
thank you for having me on, man.
This is I'm calling it the Real Estate Revolution podcast.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to do is, I just want to connect with just killers like yourself, and talk about real estate. I'll also shed a little bit of light on this awesome company that we're part of as well. So there's a couple of things we're trying to do here. So thank you, really appreciate it.
Thank you, and then and thank you for the name, man. The Real Estate Revolution, man. That's really badass. Can I say that on your podcast, man?
What I listened to some of your things, and I know on the coaching side, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I know you talk about people tend to over prepare.
Yeah.
Right. And you're just it sounds like you're an advocate for like, let's just get into it, because
let's make a mess. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's make a mess and find out what happens and see where we're at. But I did, with the podcast, I'm like, I need a good name. I need a hook. And then I just popped in, and I'm sure someone else is using it. That's why I got to do it. Dave O'Connor presents Real Estate Revolution, but I don't know. I thought it really encapsulates what I'm trying to do here. So
I think that's pretty powerful, man. And if Burger King let McDonald's stop them, you wouldn't have the Whopper. It would only be the Big Mac, right? And so they're both hamburgers. They're exactly the same thing, with Thousand Island dressing on it, right? And so let's do it, and let's let everything get sorted out in the wash. Man. I love it.
And let's be honest, like back in my non-health conscious days, I crushed some Whoppers. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I'm actually. I'll explain this. It's a Harlem thing, right? So I'm from Harlem, in New York, right? And we have this thing called a Willy Burger that crushes both the Whopper and the Big Mac.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. And so I have plenty of grease in my system because of that Willy Burger. Okay, let me just say that.
Well, you seem like a healthy guy, but if you want to come out of retirement and try Willy Burger, let's link up.
Dude, man, I definitely will make that happen. You bring your butt down here, man, and I'm gonna make sure that you have a little bit of nastiness in that system, brother.
Yeah, you're not too far. I think so. I'm east of Toronto in Ontario, and you're down. Where are you living now? Are you in Jersey?
I'm in Jersey, but I mean it's the Hudson County range, right? And so New York has 6 boroughs. New York has 5 boroughs. I'm the 6th borough. Right. Yeah. Like that's what they call it. We jump on the PATH train into New York. We are the less expensive, more accessible version of Manhattan traffic. There you go.
Well, how long does it take you to get to Manhattan?
If you live in Manhattan, it takes you an hour to get to Manhattan. But if you live in Jersey, it takes you 15 to 20 minutes. Get
it? Well, that sounds like a good place to start. So really, tell me a little bit about like Sekou. What was PreReal Estate like, and then how did you get into the real estate racket?
Oh, dude, man, I am a consummate mess up, man. I'm not going to use the real word that I would use, right? But I was in fundraising and development for years, but I've done just about every job you can possibly imagine. I've delivered lighting equipment on trucks, on big, box trucks, 24-foot cube trucks and things like that. I've worked in theaters. I've done all kinds of stuff. But it seems that it was my destiny to be a salesperson, right? Like that was written in the stars for me. And I discovered that doing fundraising and development. When my first son was born, right? I have 5 kids, right? So when my earliest son was born, something years ago, I had to do something, right, that gave me a little bit more flexibility. And real estate was right there, man. And I just got a license, and I figured I could do this for a few hours a day and, make millions of dollars, and, the rest would be history.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The cold reality of real estate set in. And I was working my tail off, man. I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But all of the stuff from before real estate, I managed to leverage in real estate now. That fundraising, the pounding the phones, the presentations, getting the door slammed in your face, all of that prepares you for the sort of grind that you have to do until you get much better over here in real estate.
So you get into real estate. Where'd you start your career?
I started my career the dirtiest penny in the whole jar, right? There's this little tiny real estate company, mom and pop company on the tip of Hoboken, right there on 14th Street. So I'm a New York, New Jersey agent, right? But,
Right.
New Jersey was where I was living at the time. And so I started at this little spot. There was 11 agents total in the whole organization, right? And I think that first year, I might have done $10,000 in business, man. It was my own deal. Like, I bought a condo myself, and that was like the biggest commission I ever gotten. It was rough because I didn't understand what I was doing. I didn't understand what I was getting into. And where we are now compared to then is all of the lessons that I learned in that little spot on the corner of First and whatever in Hoboken is the stuff that I apply today, just with a different mindset. It's been pretty awesome.
You're right. Like, you didn't know it, but you were learning the skill set.
Yeah.
You would need to be successful in real estate.
Dude, I had a broker. Let's put my quotes up, right? The broker at this spot, and he was like, "No matter what, you get into the property. No matter what." And he had me climbing through windows, and I could put it this way: I could use a credit card for more than just charging things. Let me say that, right? And it was an interesting experience, man, because I learned an important lesson at that spot, that it's never a buyer's market or a seller's market. It's always a broker's market, right?
Oh, okay.
It's always how we communicate with each other that really determines the outcome of the deal. And it was a painful experience for me, right? But that experience really, really brought me forward to today. I give him credit for the lessons that I learned, even in the negative. Let me say it like that.
Well, that's a good approach. So you get into real estate. What's the journey been like? Like, what's the story from when you got to real estate to where you are today?
So 2000, 2001, the world falls into ruin, right? New York is under attack. I couldn't get a deal to save my life, right? 2002, things start picking up in New Jersey. But because of my training, which was none, right? Because of my training, I didn't have a part of that prosperity that started happening in 2002, 2003. 2004 and 5, the market starts dropping off, and the weak start to leave, and it leaves space for the folks that are hanging in there and doing whatever they have to take, the no matter what approach. 2005 to 2008, man, I go nuts. Hundreds of homes, hundreds of contracts. I mean, I literally have a ball in doing this real estate biz. It's from 2008 on. If it wasn't for the fact that my youngest son was born preemie, I would not have taken even a year off of real estate. But because he was preemie, you take that time to make sure that your family is together. But it's the moment I can get back into real estate, that's all I've done. So for the last 20 something years, all I've done is buy and sell homes with these people. And I make fun. I say, now that I'm in real estate, the only thing I do well is sell property. That's it. I don't do anything else.
That's great, man. So then you start with the you said kind of at the bottom.
Yeah.
At that real estate company. So what companies have you worked for?
I've worked in two independent companies. One, I won't mention one because I have an NDA with it. No, I'm just playing. It's a joke. Right. So I was at Brownstone Realty, which was like the dirty penny. I love them and couldn't stand them at the same time. Right. It was like a sitcom. Right. If you imagine a sitcom real estate company, that was that place. Right.
I'd watch that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it would be definitely like the new Office. Right.
Yeah.
And I just don't know which character I would be. All right. Let me just say it like that. That's what she said. And then, then I worked. Yeah, you got it. So then I worked at this place called Liberty, and Liberty is still to this day the largest of the independent companies in this area, right? And so Liberty competes with the big box agencies. And my contribution to Liberty is that I took us from an agency with one office. Part of my effort as the trainer and the recruiter was I took us up to 360 agents during the time I was there. And that was a pretty big deal at the time, you know. We were just exploring the internet, so we had the number one search site on the internet. Like they really put a lot of money in being cutting edge. And then I went from there. I've been at C21, I've been at Weichert, I've been at a lot of the big box companies, the big box brands. But don't tell them I said this. I just did it so that I can learn their models, so that I can be a better recruiter at this independent company. And then I did KW, and I did KW for a while. And I went from KW back to the independent and then back to KW. Right. And so I ran a team, which is a really, really powerful team locally. I won't share their name right now just because, right, I'm going to give them some respect, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then we did this thing called expansion at KW, and that just changed the way I looked at real estate altogether. Looked at the real estate game. I give them a lot of respect and props for the idea that they had. The execution, well, you know, we'll talk about that later, I guess. Wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be, you know.
So then you made the leap to EXP.
Uh-huh.
How long have you been with EXP now?
3 years officially. Hello, vested. Let's go.
Oh, right. I'm 8 months in, so I'm still waiting on that.
Dude,
but you know what? Where the stocks are at right now, it can sit there for a while.
Yeah, brother. Listen, man, it's still 3 times as much as it was when I joined, and the fact that I have a bunch of icons in my downline, right? Yeah, because we spend a lot of time and attention making sure they're productive.
I just think it's an opportunity because that's the market is hurting in general, right?
Buy the dip.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Buy the dip. Let's go.
Like I don't know if I'll icon. This is my first year. I'll come close. I probably won't quite icon this year. But I just cap. But I'm like, yeah, cap me at the low stock. Right?
Let's go. The opportunities that are present when I talk to other agents in my market and they ask me about EXP or they ask me about what I'm doing, and I sort of share with them, listen, I'll tell you what I'm doing, but I'm not going to try to justify what I'm doing. They're like, what do you mean by that? I'm like, I'm making tons of money, you know, both passively and actively. And I get excited about it. And so I'm going to throw up all over you if you ask me what I'm doing, man. I'm just going to let you know that now because I'm so excited about it.
Well, first, then what about EXP help pull you away from KW?
Well, I sort of share this pretty much every time I talk about it. I made a huge mistake when I looked at EXP versus KW. I just assumed that EXP was a better version of KW, right? And I was wrong. There's no comparing. I had no tools. There was no reference point for how good it would be over here, right? Like I run a business at EXP. Right. At Keller, I worked inside of another person's business in their model, and I was hoping I would get lucky when everything sort of the stars aligned at KW. Over here, it is the norm. It is a part of the process that the stars are in alignment, that people are constantly reaching down and reaching back and reaching up and helping each other along the way. I would say the biggest thing, to answer your question, the biggest difference, or the biggest thing that I've realized being over here is that I'm never alone. I'm never alone. If I have a question about productive activity, there's someone somewhere in the world, on my sponsor line, on my downline, in my ecosystem, that not only has done it, but will share with me 100% of how they did it. And here's the number to the guy that you should call to get that part done.
Right.
There's nothing holding us back. That kind of thing is absolutely amazing.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, how have you found the collaboration within EXP?
Dude, I am. The name of your podcast is The Revolutionary Real Estate, right? Say it one more time.
Real Estate Revolution podcast.
Real Estate Revolution podcast, right? So I like to consider myself a revolutionary agent, right? Like, sure. I like to say I'm taking advantage of the quantum leap. What I have found is the collaboration is not collaboration. It is true cooperation. Like truly, the benefit of working together is seen every single day. I've called up Kyle Whistle, who's in your sponsor line somewhere, right. Somewhere along the line, right? He's a honey badger, right? So I've called up Kyle, and the original intention was like, hey man, I need some help and this and that. Do you have time? Kyle calls me back and is like, dude, just set up an appointment. Like, let's talk. Like, what do you need? What are you working through? And not only did I get the answer to the question that I asked, but I found out that there are some other things that I hadn't thought about that they solved for me already. Like, that's the kind of thing that pops up for us over and over and over.
Well, another example is we just talked for the first time today. We talked earlier today.
Yeah.
Just offline. And like, as I said, I'm up in Ontario, you're down in New York, and we already quickly just talked about maybe collaborating on a little project.
Man, and I can't wait.
How insane is that? That, like, in my community, you barely talk to agents outside of your brokerage.
Right.
When you're doing deals and whatnot. But, I joined the board just to, be involved in the community. But there's not a lot of collaboration. And now people don't understand what's happening over at EXP. Like, the access you have to people. And you didn't say collaboration. What did you say? You said it was
cooperation, man.
Cooperation.
It's dude, man, the language that you just used, like access, is so think about it like this, man. When I was at KW, I did a lot of the training courses. I did a lot of the coaching. I was helping the folks with their bold, and I ran this thing called the Appointment Academy. I'm sure we'll talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But I would do it because, like, I wanted them to experience like all of this growth. I wanted them to experience production the way that I did. And it was actually met with skepticism. Like, why are you helping me? What do you want out of it? Like, how much is this going to cost me? Over here, dude, I did a workshop 2 weeks ago for the Black EXP network, right? Inside of the world. Yeah. I had agents from Texas, from Arizona, from North Carolina, from Atlanta, from Florida, Virginia. Like, I had agents from all over the country in this workshop. And for 2.5 hours, all we did was just build and grow. There was no talk about compensation. There was no skepticism. There was nothing. You just give. That's the kind of power that cooperation does, right? Yeah. It's dude, it's unmatched, brother. It's unmatched.
Yeah. Like, I try to explain it to people, and it still today, I can't even believe it. Like, I just looked in your calendar, I don't know, earlier this week or late last week. And the fact I can get even FaceTime with you by a click of a button is so awesome. I appreciate it.
Dude, man, I learned that lesson, and I appreciate that you're using it. So I have the blessing and the curse of yes, right? Like I'm always like, yeah, no, let's talk, let's get together, let's do this, let's do that.
Yeah.
And when the pandemic hit and we all went inside, for 2 years, right? Yes became, well, let's meet this way, let's talk this way. And
Right.
I was literally overlapping with people. Today, I had, people overlap because my schedule changed. My son got home early, right?
Yeah.
In this universe, man, I've learned that it is that easy to meet with busy people, is to just ask them about their calendar link. Like how is it that you usually, how do you prefer to be met with? And they're like, oh, jump into my calendar. Dude, that little thing I got from Nick Krem,
Yeah.
got it from Jay Kinder. I've had meetings with Jay Kinder where he's jumped into my calendar. Jay jumps into my calendar. Are you crazy?
Game changer.
Boom! Mind blown.
Well, that being said, as much as I like this virtual, if Jay wants to invite me down to Puerto Rico, I'd be willing to do that podcast face to face if he was up for it.
I think his podcast is going to change from One Big Fire to One Big Gringo, man. Is like he's fully immersed in that Puerto Rican universe down.
Okay. Hey, you talked about a little bit, but so I know you have a lot of experience. You're like the lead generation guy, and then that kind of morphed into the appointment academy. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I can talk a lot about it. I will do my very best to make it a little bit. Okay.
Right,
So the appointment academy in its essence is bona fide granular lead generation activity. There's nothing theoretical about it. We don't do too much speculating as to what if, et cetera, et cetera. Agents get together on a daily basis. They pick up the phone, they pick up the camera, they pick up their social media, and they purposefully generate leads and allow the chips to fall where they may. The Appointment Academy allows us to do it together. We deconstruct a day in the life of the most productive agents in the world. And on a dollar productive, sort of minute by minute range, it allows us to pitch coach and to really, really lean in and correct or to project exactly. I would rather show you than tell you, in other words, right?
Right.
So it's the definition of I do it, we do it, you do it. So it's a 5-day workshop in general. We go all day. We make thousands of contacts in a week, and those contacts convert into deals over and over and over again. It is amazing. The last one that we did one in March. In 5 days, we generated over $100 million worth of leads and opportunities. And these are agents that are like less than 2 years in the business. Man. It's insane.
That's just silly. That's just silly. When's the next one coming up?
So we're going to do one in June, probably the first week in June. I'll make sure I get the info to you, but figure that first week, I think it's the 6th through the something like that. Whatever that is, we're probably going to do it. You'll see a bunch of advertising for that. Yeah.
And then I do a bit of research for these things. Not to be on a somber note, but there was a mentor of yours or someone they passed away, and you kind of carrying the torch. Do you mind chatting a little bit about?
So there was this guy that embodied everything that you could possibly imagine about being a good human being, right? And this guy, his name is Mark Bjorkman. He was down in Florida, and we met this way, like similar to how we met, you and I. We met, and he just was one of those folks that would just lean in, and he introduced our program to dozens of agents in his life. He was like, dude, if you want to produce, come over here to Commitment to Capping, the Appointment Academy, and just do it. He had a very, very unique way of looking at business. It was probably the healthiest version of mindset that you could possibly imagine. He was like, I'm going to be successful, right? How many other people can I get to be successful with me? Was the way he looked at business. So we embody Mark and Marky B, in the way it goes, right? And give him lots of love, man.
I love that, and the way you're honoring him, and that's why I kind of picked up on that, and I just wanted to throw it out there so we can.
Dude,
really,
anytime we get to mention Mark, I'm gonna salute that, man, and thank you for that, Dave.
no, man, awesome. The other kind of question I had for you, because I know also you do a lot of coaching. Can you speak a little bit about like the value of like maybe yourself having a coach or coaching? Like, what would you tell like a new agent in regards to coaching?
So there's two meridians to your business. There's sort of two phases of your business. There's the I'm struggling to earn. Then there's the what will I do with what I earn? Right? Like that's the only two phases of this business. If you manage to get past the survival portion of your business. The survival portion of your business happens before production.
Yeah.
If you can manage to get into a good training, coaching, mentorship sort of cycle right around the point where you finish the surviving, like you can do some business, you just don't know where it's coming from, dude, I absolutely get a coach. I've had a coach. So out of the last 22 years, I've had a coach 18 of the last 22 years. It is absolutely vital to your professional development. Think about it in terms of like, so you guys have like one football team, right? Like
the Argos.
Yeah. So
we're more Bills fans up here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Buffalo Bills, right? So
yeah.
Think along the lines of NFL, right? That coach is not there to teach you how to run and how to catch and how to throw. That coach is there to teach you how to run faster, to catch more, how to throw more accurately. They're here to take your already top level game to the next level, right? Yeah. That is what I've learned. So every coach, I have one that is working with me now. And he says to me all the time, Sekou, you rely too much on word of mouth. You have to, these agents deserve to coach with you. Get out there more, So I absolutely am an advocate of coaching at any level. And the only advice I would give a brand new agent or an experienced agent is that the investment versus the expense. You can either have the expense of a coach if you're not going to do what the coach is going to say, or you can invest in a coach and really blow your business.
That's what I've quickly learned in the last 8 months is all these top producing heavy hitters all get coaching.
Yes, sir.
I know Jay and Mike, they're, I think, Coach Burt.
Yes,
right?
sir.
And then they're running all of those. But you also do coaching yourself.
Yes.
And you've been at it for a while. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So I run a program called Commitment to Capping. It literally takes the habits, rituals, and routines of some of the most productive agents, and we lay it out in front of you so you can literally rip off and duplicate it. It's an R&D scenario. To use Nick Krem's terminology, we only work with the agents that are swimming towards the boat. I say constantly, dude, I only work with the most motivated buyers, sellers, and agents in the world. It's really granular. It's really simple. It's not very complicated, but it's not easy at the same time, right? So it's simple, not easy. We take agents from good to great and great agents from great to breaking stuff all the time, man.
You kind of talked about it. Is there a tip you have for like an agent just getting started or an established agent trying to take their game to a next level? Is there any kind of advice you like to give?
Yeah, run your business like a bakery, man. You got to make a mess in order for that shit to really, really be powerful, right? You got to flour everywhere, right? So it's make a mess and clean up to progress. You'll hear us say that all the time, right? A lot of agents want all their pencils sharpened, all their, their paper clips in a row and things like that. They keep getting ready to get ready. It's only through action that you'll know what the reaction is, right? So our coaching focuses on start results, not end results.
Yeah, I was listening to you were on Lisa G.
Yeah, Lisa G, not
Lisa
enough
G is awesome.
cackalack.
I just liked and subscribed, Lisa. If you checked it out. But she said something that I just thought was awesome, that I guess she was kind of talking to you. She's like, well, she's not ready to reach out and start generating leads. She's got to work on her social media. She's got to do this and this and that. And then your advice to her was basically just like, no, start
Just
today.
do it. Yeah.
Just
do it. Let them tell you what they're looking for instead of you trying to figure out ahead of time what they're looking for. You know, you're a dad, right? And so you got a 3-year-old. You may yet still not have experienced the landmines that are Legos, okay?
It's coming.
It's coming. It's definitely coming, right? So when you're building stuff with Legos, man, it does no good for you to keep the stuff in a box and pull up Legos one piece at a time. You'll never get done, right? You take those Legos, you pour them out on the table, and you sift through the pieces and build beautiful works of art and functional things. And then you clean up afterwards, right? Like whatever's left over, you sort of put away. If you spend your whole time sort of trying to pull one piece of business out of the box at a time, you'll never get started. And, you know, you wind up missing all the greatest opportunities. And that's what this business is about. It's just about finding and exploring opportunities.
Yeah, it's like paralysis by analysis.
Dude, dude, I have a friend of mine that owns a yoga studio. It's called the Mud and Lotus Studio, right? And her logo, her motto is no mud, no lotus.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah, no, I get it. Because my wife does yoga and she just started some sort of online thing. It's called Blooming Lotus because lotus comes out of the mud and the dirt, right? You got to get into that to have the lotus. Yeah.
Dude, man. And right now I'm feeling like a bunch of mud and dirt, right? My body doesn't move the right way. But then by the end, man, you're just graceful and beautiful. And you could do that stuff that you see other people doing. That's real estate, man.
That's amazing.
Real estate is dough, it's mud, it's messy. The analogy that we keep bringing up over and over again is, man, don't get into this business to work the cash register. You get into this business for the art. If you think about opening a bakery, right? Not one person that opens the bakery so that they can work the cash register. They open the bakery so they could share their art with the world, man. Yeah. And all of that stuff happens before they even open the door in the morning.
I like that. That's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
So the last thing is, like, if somebody wants to get in contact with you for coaching and everything, what's the best way to hook up with Sekou?
Man, I've got like a dozen different ways, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm really into this social media thing. So if you just look up my name, Sekou Pyle, you got it spelled right there, man. If you just look up my name, I pop up on all your social media platforms. If you are an agent that wants to grow, you look me up, you click on it and just say, hey, I want to grow. I want to do things. I want to get involved. We are incredibly open. We have Facebook page, Insta, everything. I don't know, smoke signals, semaphore, or you can just send me a message on my phone, man, 646-285-7388.
Wow.
Now that's the US number. So I think you got to put a 1 in front of it.
All right. You know what? I got you. I'm going to post down in the description all your contacts, so people can just hook up with you. Easy.
And welcome. I think last but not least, as far as getting in touch with me, is have the desire to do something and grow. I'm not the kind of person that when you reach out to me, it's just going to be some sort of casual, like, oh, hey, nice to talk to you. Like, I'm going to pursue the best you can be.
Yeah.
All right. So
you best be swimming for that boat.
You best be swimming for the boat, baby.
And then if you talk to Al Stasic, then you burn your boat.
Yeah, and then you burn your boat, right? Look, dude, I was talking to an agent who was like, dude, man, like you're saying that, like, you would, what do you mean by this? Like talking to agents swimming towards the boat. I said, imagine the Titanic goes down and the water is freezing and you have the lifeboat, right? That huge lifeboat. First of all, by yourself, you're never going to be able to maneuver that lifeboat. So you're going to need some help, right? Do you go after the 90 people that are swimming away from your boat and ignore the 10 people that are swimming towards your boat? Or do you move the boat towards the 10 people swimming towards the boat so that they can then help you pursue the 90 people that are swimming away.
Yeah.
And that's the best analogy that I got for that, man.
That's amazing. Well, Sekou, man, thanks so much for doing this. I'm excited to collab with you. Quickly, are you going to any of the big EXP events this year?
So not this year, man. I had a kid that my youngest kid, this is like my public service announcement for parents, right? So my youngest kid caught MIS-C, Miss C, which is a COVID-related response. So he had a non-symptomatic COVID response where his whole body started shutting down, right? And it was pretty devastating. We're just, I mean, literally yesterday we got a clear, like, you know, like he did his last EKG. So I'm still sticking close to home this year. And so next year I'll be at all of the things I'm going to.
No, you got it right, man. You got to take care of the family.
Dude, man.
That's what it's all about.
My man.
Well, then, Sekou, thanks for doing this. I'll be in touch, and maybe we'll hook up for another one of these a little bit down the road.
Dude, I'm gonna have you onto my it's not a show where we lead generate together, man, and we're gonna do an appointment academy up here in Canada.
I'm
we'll
down.
Figure it out, brother.
100% sold.
Later,
Sold.
guys. Thank
right,
you,
take
man.
it easy.
Thank you. Later.
Awesome. Have a good one.
This is Honey Badger Nation,
where real estate agents from around the globe come together
to grow, collaborate,
and expand their business.
Where we take our individual fires
and put them together and make one big fire.
This is